Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain TXP and today is the 14th of December 2023 and guess what guys, the price of Bitcoin is definitely pumping up to the moon and it has crossed the $42,500 mark and the answer is pretty simple guys. Yesterday the FOMC meeting was out and Federal Chair Jerome Powell did actually decide not to make any changes regarding the interest rate hike, and because of that guys, the global cryptocurrency market has pumped up by well over $33 billion. So think of it guys, the impact of FOMC meeting is roughly worth around $30 billion, isn't it? Absolutely massive news. So in today's episode, I'll definitely go and discuss what is it that was actually discussed at the FOMC meeting, and the interest rate is unchanged. But what is really important to note guys is that the inflation numbers were out just the day before and the inflation has actually marginally gone higher. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Jerome Powell in the near future will be increasing the interest rate hike. We'll definitely go ahead and touch base on this. Now guys, in today's episode, I'm also going to discuss some update regarding Bitcoin Spot ETF, and the US Security and Exchange Commission did actually have a meeting with BlackRock, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, and Grayscale Investment as well. And one of the reasons for this meeting guys was a cash creation model. So we'll definitely go and discuss this, and looks like there might be different opportunities for a Bitcoin Spot ETF to be approved, but definitely really crucial meeting. And guys, we have some news all the way from Zimbabwe, and the Zimbabwe University is collaborating with South African based Web3 company in order to go ahead and educate people on Web3 technology. So we'll definitely go and discuss this. And guys, finally we have some news regarding CZ, the former CEO of Binance, and unfortunately it looks like he'll not be able to leave the United States of America. Definitely not good. And like we do in every Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast, I have two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news guys is an absolutely positive news, and that is regarding an exchange called as CoinMena. And CoinMena guys did actually gain vital Dubai cryptocurrency license, thereby expanding its reach. So we'll definitely go and explore what that news is all about. And the second news guys has to do with a Web3 firm, and the news essentially is that Dubai has actually awarded a conditional crypto license to a climate-friendly Web3 firm. Now look guys, this whole notion of sustainability is definitely gaining a lot of momentum, and in Dubai guys last week there is also COP28 or COP28 that definitely made quite a lot of news, particularly in the city of Dubai. So we'll definitely go and discuss that. And this firm guys that has received a conditional crypto license is Unchained Starter's IR platform. So we'll definitely go and explore that. So quite a lot of cover guys in today's episode. So let's kick start with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as we kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing. Go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, as of today, guys, the global cryptocurrency market is at $1.60 trillion. And since the last 24 hours, because of the news regarding FOMC meeting, the global cryptocurrency market is actually pumped up by 4.43%, and guys, only Bitcoin's market cap has gone up by $33 billion. This is absolutely massive news, isn't it? And guys, if you look at the global cryptocurrency market volume, it is at $65.12 billion, but since the last 24 hours, it has actually gone down by 8.18%. Now, what happened yesterday, guys? There was a lot of trading going on, so people are actually buying and selling quite a lot of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but looks like because of the FOMC announcement meeting, a lot of them are just going ahead and buying a lot of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and it's needless to say, because of that, the price of Bitcoin alone has gone up by well over $1,000 in just the last 24 hours. Now, we'll definitely get into that, but let's quickly run through the volume of DeFi. The total volume of DeFi, guys, as of today, that is 14th of December, is at $7.56 billion, and it accounts for 11.60% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And guys, if you look at the total value locked, it has crossed the $50 billion mark, and as of today, it is at $51.76 billion. And guys, in the episode that I released on the 13th of December, I did actually talk about if news regarding the FOMC meeting does actually have an impact on the total value locked, because it was well below the $50 billion mark, and looks like a lot of action has been taking place in the DeFi world, and that is only because of the news regarding the FOMC meeting. Now, so far as the total value locked is concerned, Lido is still dominating with $20.93 billion, and guys, for some odd reason this entire week, decentralized to centralized exchange dominance is relatively consistent. I really am hoping we do not find out any notorious activity among any of the leading decentralized exchanges, because to be honest, guys, the volume has definitely taken quite a lot of momentum in a positive way as well as in a negative way, but the decentralized exchange volume is relatively consistent. And to be honest, guys, in 2023, this just might be the very first time that thing has happened. The decentralized exchange to centralized exchange dominance is at 18.57%, and as I mentioned earlier, guys, DeFi is accounting for 11.60% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now, let me just very briefly run through the 24-hour volume of decentralized exchanges, cause Uniswap's volume is $1.58 billion, followed by PancakeSwap at $469.31 million. Core Finance, guys, is $296.79 million. Trader Joe's at number 4th at $251.69 million, and finally Radium at $187.5 million. Now, guys, if you look at the volume of stablecoins, unfortunately, Binance BUSD is not at number 3rd, and Tron USD has taken place at number 3rd position. So look, guys, I would strongly recommend to use Tron USD as opposed to, let's say, Binance BUSD. Whether you like it or not, you need to go ahead and change that, because by 31st of December, Binance BUSD is coming towards an end, isn't it? Now, the volume of stablecoins, guys, is at $58.9 billion, and stablecoins is accounting for 90.45% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now, guys, let's quickly run through the market cap, 24-hour trading volume, and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And guys, in my episode yesterday, I did talk about Bitcoin's market cap. I believe it was at $803 billion, and I actually mentioned that if Jerome Powell does actually decide to go ahead and increase the interest rate hike, I wouldn't be surprised if the market cap of Bitcoin does actually go below the $800 billion mark. Thankfully, that did not happen. What Jerome Powell did actually do, he actually did nothing, and he left the interest rate unchanged, and because of that, the global cryptocurrency market considers it as a positive sign, and the global cryptocurrency market did actually pump up, and only the market cap of Bitcoin went up by well over $33 billion, and as of today, it is at $837.4 billion. Ethereum, guys, is at $271.6 billion. Now, if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, to be honest, I'm a bit surprised that there is not much action so far as buying of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency is concerned, but I'm pretty much sure, guys, in the next coming days, the 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies will definitely be picking up pace. But what has happened since the last 24 hours, a lot of altcoins have definitely gained a lot of momentum. Now, so far as the 24-hour volume of Bitcoin is concerned, it is at $24.9 billion, whereas Ethereum is at $11.2 billion. Now, guys, Bitcoin's dominance is looking really strong at 52.20%, and Ethereum's dominance has actually gone down at 16.90%. And the answer is pretty simple, guys. A lot of altcoins have been purchased since the last 24 hours. That is after the FOMC announcement. And look, guys, you need to be extremely cautious regarding altcoins, because there is a very high possibility the prices would actually go down as and when we get some news and information regarding Bitcoin spot ETF, because what people are going to do is they're going to dump a lot of the altcoins and they're going to go ahead and buy Bitcoin. Now in today's episode, guys, let me just very quickly run through the DeFi volume by blockchains. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at the top 5 blockchain protocols, and based on these blockchain protocols, let's run through the DeFi volume. Now it's no surprise that Ethereum is leading the pack, and so far as the volume of DeFi is concerned, $1.46 billion has been transacted since the last 24 hours. Now the second one, guys, to be honest, is a bit surprising because I was under the impression it might be either Solana or Binance sidechain, but it is Arbitrum, and the volume of DeFi since the last 24 hours is $779.56 million. The third one is Solana at $661.68 million, and finally at number 4, guys, is Binance BNB sidechain at $498.64 million. I was under the impression, guys, that after Ethereum, Binance might be number 2nd. What about Cardano, guys? Cardano is nowhere in the picture. Now the number 5th is Avalanche, and if you look at its 24-hour trading volume, it's $398 million. Now guys, before we look at the king of all kings, let me run through a protocol called as Radix, because to be honest guys, this project did make quite a lot of news, and when we talk about Ethereum killers, this project was definitely at the forefront of being one of the strongest Ethereum killers. Unfortunately guys, the project does not seem to have materialized. Now this project called as Radix is a blockchain project which is founded by Dan Hughes, and initially guys, this project was called as Immune and later renamed to Radix, and the ticker symbol guys for Radix is XRD, and the project guys aims to address scalability issues in blockchain technology. Now Pierce Richards did actually join the project as the CEO in 2017, and because of that the project did get a lot of funding, and the funding was secured from individuals like David Intrest, who's a co-founder of Transwire as well. Now the project did have a breakthrough moment in 2020 with the development of Cerberus, which is a cross-shard consensus protocol offering unlimited linear scalability. And look guys, I used to watch so many videos regarding Radix, and at one point of time I was convinced that the project might just overtake Ethereum, but unfortunately guys, I haven't heard quite a lot of news regarding them. Now one of the features of Radix guys is the scalability focus, and Radix, like many other projects, did actually try to solve scalability issues in blockchain technology, and they did that by experimenting with various consensus architecture, and later on in 2020 Cerberus was developed, which is essentially a cross-shard consensus protocol providing unlimited linear scalability. Now listen guys, they also have a corporate structure, and they have 2 tokens. One is Radix tokens, which is called as Jersey, and they've also issued limited tokens of XRD, and they actually hold the Radix Foundation treasury. And guys, they also have a public network, and the Radix public network is called as Olympia, which did actually go live in July of 2021. And guys, you can also run DeFi projects in Radix, and they have a different programming language called as Crypto, which is essentially a unique asset-oriented programming language for DeFi development, and that was released in December of 2021. And guys, just in September of this year, the project had a mainnet upgrade which is called as Babylon, and the Babylon mainnet upgrade did actually take place in September 2023. We did actually introduce smart contracts which was written in Crypto and Radix wallet. So guys, there are 3 unique aspects of Radix. One is the programming language, the Radix engine, and the consensus mechanism. And guys, as I mentioned earlier, Crypto is a programming language which is a unique asset-oriented programming language for improved Web3 and DeFi developer experience. And so far as the engine is concerned, a unique virtual machine which is claiming to be the world's first DeFi engine was created, and the aim is to revolutionize DeFi development. And guys, so far as the consensus mechanism is concerned, a unique consensus algorithm was created that enables atomic composability across a massive shard space, offering both atomic composability and linear scalability as well. And guys, so far as the security measures are concerned, they have something called a cerebral consensus, and cerebral represents a radical shift in the design of decentralized or distributed ledger system. And guys, all transactions with Cerberus are automatically composed across shards, and this is actually crucial for decentralized finance to scale effectively, especially as the user base grows, isn't it? And guys, so far as the tokenomics is concerned, as I mentioned earlier guys, they have something called as Radix, which is called as XRD, that serves as a native token for Radix public network. And guys, they're also working on delegated proof of stake, and they're doing that to safeguard against Sybil attacks, where an adversary can control the network by creating multiple fake identities, and guys, the XRD token holders can actually delegate the stake to validator node runners, and this delegation helps secure the network by relying on reputation and trustworthiness of the chosen validators. So essentially guys, in summary, Radix does actually aim to address scalability challenges in blockchain by offering unique solutions at the language, engine and consensus level. The combination of Crypto, Radix Engine and Cerebras does actually contribute to a comprehensive ecosystem designed to advance the development and scalability of decentralized applications, particularly in the realm of decentralized finance, isn't it? And the security measures, guys, includes the innovative Cerebras consensus and delegated proof of stake system that enhances the robustness of Radix network. Now look guys, this project technically might sound great, but you always need to remember the best technology does not necessarily win, rather the most known technology wins. Now guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin, and the price of Bitcoin is $42,729. Look at the impact guys of the FOMC meeting, and because Jerome Powell did not do anything regarding the interest rate hike, only the price of Bitcoin has gone up by 4.53% since the last 24 hours, and since the last 7 days it is still down by 2.79%. Ethereum guys is currently at $2,259, and since the last 24 hours it is marginally up by 4.17%, but since the last 7 days it is down by 0.39%. Binance BNB coin guys surprisingly seems to be having a great week, because since the last 7 days it is still up by 6.92%. Since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 1.09%, and the price is at $249. Now guys, what happened yesterday, I believe at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Jerome Powell did actually go live via YouTube, and in that session guys, he did actually explain that he have decided not to do anything, and no interest hike has been made, and he has decided that the interest rate hike remains unchanged at 5.2% to 5.50%. But listen guys, what I'd really recommend you to do is go to YouTube, follow Federal Reserve Board's channel, and yesterday guys, Jerome Powell did actually go live. What I'd really recommend you to do is guys, rather than listening to mainstream media or celebrity influencers or any other mainstream publication, listen to what Jerome Powell has to say, because that is first source of information. And in that session guys, he does actually give his reasoning as to why he has decided not to go ahead and make any changes regarding the interest rate hike, but he clearly mentioned that there is a very strong possibility of an increase of up to, let's say, 25 basis points in 2024, and that most likely could be in January as well. So once again guys, listen to the information from first source, listen to him talk about the interest rate hike, because what he did actually state is that the labor market condition is definitely looking good in the US, and one of the reporters did actually ask him about recession, and he openly told that based on the numbers, looks like the United States of America will not be heading towards a recession, but if the numbers do actually change, they will go ahead and make informed decision. And listen guys, because of this news, there is drastic impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as well, isn't it? And one thing which I specifically mentioned guys, whenever Jerome Powell goes live, what I tend to do is I tend to look at the price and information 3 to 4 hours before he has gone live, while he has gone live, and 3 to 4 hours after he has gone live. And what I've noticed is after he has gone live, mainstream media picks up the news, they tend to put up their own narrative, but in this case, surprisingly, mainstream media is actually going with the right narrative. In the past guys, mainstream media, let's say like Reuters, Bloomberg or even Wall Street Journal, they often put out a narrative which is often different to what Jerome Powell says. Now so far as news regarding cryptocurrency is concerned guys, based on the FOMC meeting, the price of Bitcoin has increased, and the global cryptocurrency market has increased as well. And some of fintech mainstream journals, such as FX Street, did publish an article that actually stated that Bitcoin price did actually shoot past $42,800 as the FOMC keeps interest rate unchanged. And even CoinDesk guys, they actually published an article which stated that Bitcoin bounces over $43,000, but altcoins instead have definitely picked up quite a lot of pace. And finally, even Bankrate, they have published an article, but Bankrate's article is a bit different, because what they do is in that article they try to go ahead and explain how the Federal Reserve Board's decision impacts stock, crypto and other investments. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, go ahead and listen to what Jerome Powell says via YouTube. It is roughly around 40 minutes long, and then go ahead and read through the article, and you'd be surprised guys, some of the mainstream media or 90% of the mainstream media, they tend to put up their own narrative. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this time the narrative is the same, and earlier in the past, the narrative that mainstream media puts out is completely different, and that's one of the reasons why we often say mainstream media has lost a lot of credibility, and they often provide misleading and fake news information. Now guys, let's discuss some updates regarding Bitcoin Spot ETF. And what happened guys is that the US Security and Exchange Commission held meetings with 4 different issuers regarding the spot Bitcoin ETF filings, and according to the meeting's memorandum guys, which is actually posted by the US Security and Exchange Commission website, Grayscale and Franklin Templeton met with SEC on the 8th of December, and Fidelity Investment did actually meet with the US Security and Exchange Commission on the 7th of December, and BlackRock guys did have the meeting with them on the 11th of December. Now if you do want to find out a snapshot of what is going on, what I'd really recommend you to do is on Twitter, follow a guy called James Seffert, and his tweets are in the show notes below as well. Now he's a senior ETF analyst on Bloomberg, and he does provide quite a lot of news, particularly in the world of ETF, cryptocurrency and non-cryptocurrency related as well. He definitely seems like an expert in this field, and a lot of the mainstream media from the cryptocurrency world often take his tweets and publish the articles based on that. Now what he did actually mention is that this meeting is not necessarily a massive news, but my big question guys is, do you think an ETF will be approved? Now Bloomberg's article does actually state that there is a 90% chance of the US Security and Exchange Commission approving a Bitcoin Spot ETF by January 10th. Now what are your thoughts guys? To be honest, I really am not sure. Based on my understanding, and I could be miserably wrong on this, I do have a very strong feeling that the US Security and Exchange Commission will try to go ahead and delay the decision. I really am not sure what the legal requirements are. Now regarding the date of 10th January, that is the final date where the US Security and Exchange Commission has to either accept it or delay it. But because of the meeting, are they going to say that there are amendments which are made in the US Security and Exchange Commission filings, and because of that they need more time? That's what I particularly think. And guys, what's really important to note is one of the issues BlackRock and other Bitcoin Spot ETF issuers discussed with the US Security and Exchange Commissions were regarding concerns that the use of in-kind creation model was being used instead of cash creation model for the spot Bitcoin ETF. Now listen guys, the US Security and Exchange Commission favors the cash model, and BlackRock and other issuers do actually advocate for in-kind creation, so the meeting was essentially held in order to go ahead and address the regulator's concern. And guys, BlackRock did actually propose a revised in-kind model, and in the latest Bitcoin Spot ETF filing update, BlackRock did actually address the potential classification of Bitcoin as a security by the SEC. So my big question guys is, based on this meeting, will the US Security and Exchange Commission delay the decision? That's what I particularly think. And look guys, I've always said this, I do have this feeling that until and unless we do have a Republican candidate or a Republican president in charge of the US Security and Exchange Commission, we most likely might not see a Bitcoin Spot ETF, but I'll be happy to be completely wrong on this. But the key date guys is the 10th of Jan, because then we will find out if a Bitcoin Spot ETF is either being approved or rejected, or you never know, might be delayed as well. Now guys, let's discuss some positive news all the way from Zimbabwe. And what happened guys, on the 8th and 9th of this month, the University of Zimbabwe collaborated with South African based company called Mzani, and they hosted the first ever blockchain hackathon. And to Harari Rupere, the chairman of the University Computer Science Department, emphasized the hackathon aimed to cultivate innovative developers with a mindset geared towards beyond unconventional boundaries. Definitely a positive news. And look guys, when you talk about the innovation or creation of Bitcoin, ideally it was meant for these countries, isn't it? For underdeveloped countries. And look guys, I've always said this, when you talk about Bitcoin, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, the rich people have gotten richer. And if you look at the number of millionaires who have become multi-millionaires, billionaires who have become multi-billionaires, unfortunately guys, it is the first world countries who have been developed by it. And underdeveloping countries, let's see, like Zimbabwe, India, Pakistan, are still extremely poor so far as Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is concerned. So this news, to be honest, is definitely positive news. Now guys, let's discuss some update, and that is regarding Binance's former CEO, that is Changpeng Zhao. Now this part of time, I'm pretty much sure you know what the drama is. And last week guys, in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, I did talk about CZ, who did actually challenge the US government's decision because he wanted to leave United States of America. and he did want to come to the UAE, but unfortunately, guys, a federal judge did actually determine that he's too much of a flight risk if he's allowed to return to the UAE, and looks like, guys, he will be in the United States of America until his sentencing in February of 2024. So definitely not a good look for CZ and Binance. And look, guys, 2023 as such has if not been one of the worst years for Binance. But to be honest, guys, CZ does seem like a straight up guy, so it's going to be really interesting to see what his future is. Now, guys, let's discuss two news on Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And the first news, guys, is definitely positive news, and that is regarding one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges from the Middle East, called as CoinMena, and they have gained vital Dubai crypto license, and looks like they're definitely going to be expanding the reach. So let me go ahead and explain what this news is all about. And what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, go to the CoinMena website and read through the official news, because CoinMena, guys, is a Sharia compliant digital asset exchange, and they have received provisional virtual asset license from Dubai's VARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. And the license, guys, allows CoinMena to operate in Dubai as it applies for full license in according with VARA's requirement. And CoinMena, guys, is regulated by the Central Bank of Bahrain and has obtained licenses from CBB and European Union within the first year itself. Now, the provisional license is the third, enabling CoinMena to offer services to institutional investors. And VARA, guys, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, is the custodial entity of Dubai virtual asset sector, but they do not include Dubai International Financial Center or DIFC. Now, VARA, guys, is a participatory governance model with comprehensive legislations aiming to foster innovation and strengthen Dubai's financial hub status. And Halal Saeed Al Mari welcomes CoinMena, expressing VARA's commitment to supporting regional enterprises in the digital economy. And VARA's regulatory framework, guys, is appreciated by CoinMena's co-founders for its innovation-friendly and secure business environment. And the provisional license, guys, enables CoinMena to expand activities and strengthen banking relationships in the UAE. And the co-founders, guys, do actually highlight the potential of regional growth and the importance of VARA's regulatory clarity. And guys, VARA, as we know, is currently attracting crypto companies, and they want to position Dubai as the hub for such businesses. And CoinMena is actually aiming to contribute to boost a robust regulatory infrastructure for sustainable digital economy growth. And guys, listen, regulatory clarity is extremely critical, particularly in the cryptocurrency space, isn't it? Because regulatory clarity for users and investors does help broaden the entire ecosystem, and VARA's provisional license does actually help in doing that. And CoinMena, guys, did actually achieve this milestone, including being the first onshore licensed crypto exchange to introduce limit trading as well. And guys, CoinMena plans to add more user-centric features in the next coming weeks and months, so definitely positive news. Now, guys, let's discuss second news, and that is regarding a climate-friendly Web3 firm. Now, look, guys, I really am not convinced with the whole climate-friendly Web3 firm, and Vivek Ramaswamy, one of the US presidential candidate, does actually openly say that climate agenda is a complete hoax. But nonetheless, regarding this news is concerned, let me go ahead and explain what this news is all about, because Dubai's Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority has granted a conditional crypto license to engine starters called as Aya. And Aya, guys, is a climate-focused launchpad supporting sustainability innovations like reforestations, nature credits, mangrove conservation, and sustainable agriculture. And the license is subject to specific conditions that must be fulfilled before the commencement of services. And engine starters Dubai Arm did actually receive the crypto license on the 11th of December, contingent on meeting VARA's requirement and undergoing regulatory verifications and approval. But it's important to note, guys, that the license is non-operational until engine starter satisfies all conditions and localization requirements defined by VARA. Now, guys, this news is actually published by Cointelegraph, but when Cointelegraph tried to approach them, they have not received any comments from them. And Prakash Ramanathan, Engine Starter and Aya Foundation CEO, does actually express the company's commitment to comply with VARA's laid-out process. And Aya, guys, serves as a financial platform for green initiatives, supporting climate action projects with blockchain and Web3 infrastructure. Now, unfortunately, guys, I don't think so. Blockchain is a perfect mix for this. And you truly need to understand what Bitcoin is. And once you truly understand what Bitcoin is, you truly know what Bitcoin is not and the limited use case of blockchain technology. But nonetheless, so far as this news is concerned, the company is collaborating with Story Group on a campaign to plant mangroves in Dubai while working towards VARA's requirements. And Wasi Ahmad, Engine Starters MENA Region's Managing Director, has emphasized collaboration with founders and projects with unique proposition in key focus areas, and IAGAs will focus on building product narratives, raising capital and launching projects dedicated to sustainability, and the company's ongoing collaboration involves planting mangroves in Dubai as part of a campaign to combat climate change, and Engine Starter Guys aims to fulfill Vara's prerequisites for an operational license while actively engaging in environmental initiatives, and Vara's leadership shift is mentioned as a regulator ramps up operations in the crypto space. And guys, listen, so far as Vara is concerned, they remain responsive to market needs, engage in conversations with industry leaders, innovators, and other stakeholders. So it's going to be interesting to see how this entire narrative of climate-friendly Web3 firm merges with blockchain technology. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, I really am not sure if open blockchain technology is the right mix for this. Now, whether you agree to it or have any other comments or something I might be missing, mention them in the comments below. And that's about all, guys, from Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, there's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Raj who asks, do you think Bitcoin crosses the $50,000 mark by year end? Now listen, Raj, I've said this thing so many times in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast. In fact, from the very first episode that I released, I often said this, that all my past predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. So what I'm going to be saying next is definitely not financial advice. So to answer your question, do I think the price of Bitcoin could cross $50,000 mark? Definitely extremely possible, but there are a couple of macro level factors that need to be taken into consideration as well. What if the news regarding Israel and Gaza escalates? What if the news regarding Russia and Ukraine escalate? I'm pretty much sure those news will directly and indirectly impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, isn't it? Now apart from that, one of the biggest news is, let's say if we do find out some news regarding Binance or CZ. Now granted, at this point of time, we still have to wait till February 2024 to get some update, but if we do get some more information regarding Binance or collapse of Binance, that will be absolutely devastating, not just for Binance, but for the cryptocurrency world, isn't it? And listen, Raj, me personally, I used to work for the credit card industry, and one trend which we used to observe in the credit card industry is, in December, particularly in the last few weeks, people tend to spend a lot. That is because of the holiday season. There is Christmas coming up. There is New Year coming up. So generally when you talk about December, the last few weeks, people tend to buy a lot. And because of that, people might be buying a lot of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as well. And there are various reasons for that. One is because it is a holiday season. People often get bonuses during that time as well. And because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if the price of Bitcoin might actually cross the $50,000 mark. So part of me does actually agree to it, but at the same time, if we do get some global factors which are not directly connected to Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, that could pull down the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as well. And listen, Raj, in today's episode, we did actually discuss a very important news regarding the FOMC meeting, and Federal Reserve Chair has decided not to go ahead and increase the interest rate hike. And to be honest, this might be the very first time, at least in the last couple of years. Just a day before that, the CPI numbers are out. Now, so far as the CPI numbers are out, the inflation has actually marginally gone up. So there is a very high possibility that mainstream media tries to cover this news, and because of that, the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency goes up. Now listen, Raj, in December, there is a very high possibility that the price of Bitcoin will actually cross the $50,000 mark, but in January, there is a very high possibility that the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency could actually go down. And this is where the date of 10 January kicks in. At this point of time, let's say there's a 90% chance of a Bitcoin spot ETF to be approved. But let's say for some wild reason, on January 10th, the US Security and Exchange Commission decides, let's say, to cancel or reject all of the Bitcoin spot ETF. I'm pretty much sure the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will actually go down, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does actually go down by well over 50%. Most likely that might not happen, but let's say if that thing does happen, then you need to also factor that in December, people have made a lot of purchases, and most often in the Western countries, people use credit cards, isn't it? And in January is when they try to pay off their credit cards, and that's when the prices tend to go down as well. So those are things and factors you need to take into consideration. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the next 2 months revolves, particularly in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Definitely an interesting question. And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything season Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And how this series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.